In my previous video, we covered playoff Kershaw and the storm of negativity that surrounds his playoff legacy as a choker. Today, I want to flip the perception coin and look at a pitcher with a generally positive playoff legacy. And who better than another hulking left-hander who plays for a SoCal team and has plenty of playoff experience to boot. Who am I talking about? Well, obviously, the rodeo legend himself, Mason Saunders. It's Madison Bumgarner. You know, 3-time champ, World Series MVP, that guy. The point of today's video is really to just find out if the legend of playoff MadBum holds true to the extent that people make it, or if people are, once again, over-exaggerating by a not inconsequential amount. Before we jump into this, if you've got any other players, pitchers, or other topics you want me to discuss, feel free to leave them in the comments. But now, let's begin. Madison Bumgarner begins his playoff conquest in the 2010 NLDS in Game 4 as a starter against the Atlanta Braves. His final line in this one, 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, on 6 hits, 1 walk, 1 home run, with 5 strikeouts. He got through the first inning completely unscathed, 1-2-3, but then allowed a hit, a walk, and an error in the second, which led to the bases loaded, but he got out of that with no damage done. In the third, he allowed 3 hits and a sac fly, which would score the first run in the game. In the fourth and fifth, respectively, he went 3 up, 3 down. Nothing happened. In the sixth, he allowed a leadoff home run and a single afterwards, but no more damage other than the home run. The grading here, good. He had 2 rough innings, but managed to limit the damage very well, and the 1 hiccup in the sixth, the solo shot. But other than that, very strong outing, great start to a playoff career. The Giants would go on to win the NLDS without any more appearances from MadBum, which brings us to Game 4 of the NLCS of 2010 against the Philadelphia Phillies. Madison Bumgarner again would start the game. This time, he would go 4 2/3, allowing 3 earned runs on 6 hits, 1 walk, and 1 hit by pitch, while striking out 6. In the first inning, he hit a batter with 2 outs, but did not give up a run, no damage done. In the second, he allowed a hit, but again, no damage. The third inning was clean, 1-2-3. In the fourth, he allowed a hit and a walk, but again managed to not give up a run. In the fifth, he gave up 3 hits and allowed 1 run himself before leaving the game with 2 outs and runners at first and second base. The reliever that came in gave up a double, which scored the 2 runs that were left on base and were then charged to Bumgarner. The grading here is serviceable minus. Madison Bumgarner was taken out with 2 outs, yes, because the 3-hitter Placido Polanco was coming up, who was 1 for 1 with the hit by pitch in the first inning off of Bumgarner in this game. It was a risk that didn't pay off. This takes a bit of blame away from Bumgarner here and just gets this out of the bad grading territory. Still not the greatest follow-up to his solid debut. In Game 6 of the NLCS, Madison Bumgarner made another appearance, this time in relief. He pitched 2 innings, the 5th and the 6th, didn't allow a run, allowed 3 hits and walked 1 while also striking out 1. In the 5th inning, the first inning that he pitched, he allowed 2 hits and an intentional walk, loading the bases but getting out of it with no damage. He then allowed another hit, a double in the 6th inning, but again, no damage done, a clean outing. Grading here is good minus. It's not the cleanest outing by any means with 4 base runners in 2 innings, but in relief on 2 days rest, this is nothing to scoff at. The Giants wound up winning the 2010 NLCS against the Phillies, and we move on to the World Series. In Game 4 of that series against the Texas Rangers, Madison Bumgarner took the first steps towards becoming this known legend. 8 innings pitched, no runs on 3 hits and 2 walks with 6 strikeouts to boot. He allowed a walk in the first and second inning respectively, but no damage done. He went 1-2-3 in the third, allowed 1 hit in the fourth. That base runner immediately got caught stealing, so no damage done. Went 1-2-3 in the fifth, allowed a hit in the sixth, which was erased by a double play. Allowed a hit and an error in the 7th, but no damage done. And as an exclamation point, he went 1-2-3 in the 8th. The grading here should surprise absolutely no one. This is a great outing. 8 innings pitched, no runs in the World Series game. Nothing else to say, great outing. After finishing the job and winning the World Series in 2010, the Giants continued to not make the playoffs in 2011. So we skip that year and we move right on to 2012. Returning to the playoffs with the Giants in 2012, Madison Bumgarner made his first outing of that playoff run in Game 2 of the NLDS against the Cincinnati Reds. His final line, 4 1/3 innings, 4 earned runs on 7 hits, 1 walk and 1 home run, while striking out 4. In the second inning, he gave up a leadoff home run and would later walk another batter, but that batter did not come around to score, so he only allowed 1 run there. In the fourth inning, he allowed 4 singles, which ended up scoring 3 runs. And in the fifth inning, he allowed another 2 hits with 1 out, and his outing ended right there. The 2 runners he left on in the fifth did not come around to score as the bullpen coaxed an immediate double play. The grading here is bad. He got singled to death with 6 out of the 7 hits he allowed being singles, and obviously the home run in the second inning doesn't help. In the NLCS that followed, Madison Bumgarner would face off in Game 1 against the St. Louis Cardinals. His final line here, 3 2/3 innings, 6 earned runs on 8 hits, 1 walk and 2 home runs, while getting 2 strikeouts. While getting through the first inning completely clean 1-2-3, he would then go on to allow a 2-run home run in the second, an inning in which he allowed 3 hits and 1 walk in total. In the third, he would allow just 1 hit but no damage, but again, allow 4 hits in the fourth inning, 2 of which being doubles, 1 of which being a single, and 1 of which being another 2-run home run. The grading here is awful. There isn't much to add, this is just not the start to a series that you want at all. The Giants would end up winning the NLCS and moving to the World Series, without any more appearances from Madison Bumgarner throughout the entirety of the 7-game set. In the World Series, it was redemption time for Madison Bumgarner, this time against the Detroit Tigers. Game 2. His final line, 7 innings pitched, no runs, 2 hits, 2 walks, 1 hit by pitch, 8 strikeouts. The hit by pitch came in the second inning, just as another hit did, a double, but a runner was thrown out at home and no damage was done. In the fourth, he allowed another hit, but the runner got caught stealing, so again, no damage done. The walks came in the 6th and 7th respectively, but nobody scored. The grading here should surprise nobody, this is great. As previously stated, this was kind of his redemption arc in the 2012 playoffs, and it couldn't have come at a better spot. And he further added to his World Series dominance, which at this point stands at 15 innings pitched, no earned runs. The Giants would once again close out the series without any more appearances from Madison Bumgarner and win their second World Series in 3 years. They would also then go on to not make the playoffs again in 2013. So with that in mind, we skip forward to the year that solidified the playoff legend of Madison Bumgarner, 2014. Madison Bumgarner's first opponent during the 2014 playoffs were the Pittsburgh Pirates in the do-or-die wildcard game. Madison Bumgarner showed out, throwing a complete game shutout, allowing just 4 hits and 1 walk while striking out 10. I could list off when those 4 hits came in the 2nd, 6th, 7th, and 8th inning, and that the walk happened in the 4th, but there is nothing I can say that makes this outing any better than it already is or any worse than it already is. A complete game shutout in a do or die. Enough said, great outing, moving on. Next on the agenda, the Washington Nationals in the NLDS. Madison Bumgarner went 7 innings, allowing 2 earned runs, 3 runs total on 6 hits, 1 walk, while striking out 6. The only real damage the Nationals did was in the 7th, where the inning went single, walk, and a throwing error by Bumgarner himself, which scored 2 runs. After this, he allowed another single, which scored another run, which was unearned. So in the 7th, he allowed 3 runs total, but after that last RBI single, he retired 3 straight to get out of it. For the grading on this outing, I'm going with solid plus, very close on the cusp to good. Despite the last run being unearned, it was Bumgarner's error that allowed all 3 of the runs to score. That run being unearned doesn't reflect who is to blame for the run, which is MadBum himself. So that kind of takes a little bit away from the outing, although this is still a very strong outing. After the Giants rallied around Madison Bumgarner to win the NLDS, we move on to the NLCS. Madison Bumgarner started Game 1 against St. Louis Cardinals and went 7 2/3, allowing no earned runs on 4 hits, 1 walk, and 1 hit by pitch while striking out 7. The hits happened in the first, second, and then 2 hits in the 7th, all resulting in no damage. The walk happened in the 4th, and the hit batsman happened in the 5th. Madison Bumgarner would then go on to go 2 up, 2 down in the 8th, but the outing ended after those 2 outs. The grading here is great. Madison Bumgarner kept the base runners very limited, and all the hits he gave up were singles, and the only inning he allowed more than 1 runner was in the 7th inning with the 2 singles. There's really not much more to add here. This outing is a great way to get your team off on the right foot in a 7-game set. Madison Bumgarner would make another appearance in the NLCS, this time in Game 5. He went 8 innings, allowing 3 runs on 5 hits, 2 bases on balls, and 2 home runs while striking out 5. While he allowed 2 hits in the first inning, he got out of that with a double play, but in the 3rd inning, he walked 2 batters and allowed a double, which plated the first run. And in the 4th, he allowed 2 home runs, both solo shots, to make it 3. However, he then came back to go 1-2-3 in the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th inning to finish off his outing. The grading here is good. He was shaky in the middle parts of this game in the 3rd and 4th inning, where he got 5 base runners in 2 innings. But retiring 13 in a row to end your outing definitely saves this one and gives it a well-deserved grading of good. After this, the Giants won the NLCS and once again moved on to the World Series, this time against the Kansas City Royals. In Game 1, Madison Bumgarner was once again their guy, going 7 innings on just 1 earned run on 3 hits, 1 walk, 1 hit by pitch, and 1 home run with 5 strikeouts. Madison Bumgarner had traffic in each of the first 3 innings, but got out of all those with no damage done. He would then go 9 up, 9 down through the 4th, 5th, and 6th, and allow a home run in the 7th, which would account for the only run. The grading here is great. This is just about the perfect start to a World Series, and Madison Bumgarner did retire 12 straight at one point before the home run in the 7th snapped that streak. Not much else to add here. Moving on to the next game, Game 5. In Game 5 of the World Series, Madison Bumgarner showed out yet again. Complete game shutout, just 4 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts. I really can't be asked to give much context here. The hits came in the 1st, 2nd, 5th, and 6th, and that was it. Nothing else. This is a great outing from start to finish, a complete game shutout in the World Series. What more do you want? In Game 7, Madison Bumgarner solidified himself as a playoff legend. In relief on 2 days rest, he pitched 5 innings, allowing no earned runs, giving up just 2 hits while striking out 4. He would end up getting the save in this game and finishing the World Series for the Giants for their 3rd title in 5 years. The grading here should surprise no one. This is great. Shutting down Game 7 of the World Series for 5 innings on 2 days rest after having thrown a complete game shutout is nothing short of legendary. I will mention, however, the controversial hold by the 3rd base coach on the triple hit in the 9th inning, but I'm not going to get into much detail on it. If you're curious about this, check out the videos from Stark Rating Sports and or Secret Base. I'll have them both linked. However, as is tradition at this point, after winning the World Series in 2014, the Giants then did not make the playoffs in 2015. These guys just hate odd years. So, we move on to the final year Madison Bumgarner ever pitched in the playoffs, 2016. In 2016, Madison Bumgarner would first face the Mets in the wildcard game. If you remember 2014 against the Pirates, well, basically copy and paste this here. Complete game shutout, 4 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. I'm not even gonna bother listing when the hits and walks happened. A complete game shutout in a do or die, sound familiar, is going to net you a great outing. He only allowed multiple base runners in the 5th inning. That was it. That's the only blemish I can find on this outing. Moving on to the NLDS. In the NLDS of 2016, the Giants faced off against the eventual champion Chicago Cubs. Madison Bumgarner started Game 3. His final line, 5 innings pitched, 3 earned runs on 7 hits, 1 walk, 1 hit by pitch, and 1 home run, while he struck out 4. In the 2nd inning, he allowed a hit by pitch, a single, and then a 3-run home run, which was the only time the Cubs scored off of him. He would allow some more base runners through the 3rd and 4th inning, but would go 1-2-3 in the 5th to end this outing. The grading here is serviceable. There was a good amount of traffic against Madison Bumgarner in this game. and he made one big hiccup with the 3-run home run. Other than that, nothing to scoff at, but not as good as previously he's been. And for the first time in Madison Bumgarner's playoff career, his Giants were eliminated from the playoffs by the Cubs in Game 4, losing the series 1-3. This brings an end to Madison Bumgarner's playoff career. Let's now wrap this up and make some conclusions. So as previously mentioned, Madison Bumgarner did not make another playoff appearance after the exit against the Cubs in 2016. After finishing out his contract with the Giants, which ended after 2019, he went to the Diamondbacks, but we won't talk about that. Currently, Madison Bumgarner is not on a team, though an article from Sports Illustrated from back in March suggests he might be contemplating a mid-season return, though we'll see what that turns into. For now, let's answer the questions proposed at the start of the video. Is Madison Bumgarner as good as people say in October? For the most part, yes. He had an insane run of dominance from the 2012 World Series through to the 2016 wildcard game. He was only ever really bad doing one outing in 2010, the NLCS Game 4 outing, and in 2012 minus the World Series of that year. Is he an untouchable legend? Not for his whole career, though he basically turned into that in 2014. Make of that what you will. My conclusion is this dude is very much deserving of this positive, great reputation that he has as a playoff pitcher. Another question that a lot of people often ask, is Madison Bumgarner that much better than Clayton Kershaw in October? In October, if you add that caveat to the question, yes, he absolutely is. The stats don't lie here. Madison Bumgarner more than halves Clayton Kershaw's playoff ERA and is far more consistent in October. If given the choice between these two pitchers, Kershaw and Bumgarner, in their primes, you'd be foolish not to go with Madison Bumgarner, at least in the playoffs. So yes, if there's one thing that Bumgarner has on his quote-unquote rival in Clayton Kershaw, it's the playoffs. There is no debating this. Here we are now, September 2024. As of right now, Madison Bumgarner is yet to make a return to Major League Baseball, aside from throwing out a ceremonial first pitch at the Giants' 10-year reunion of the 2014 World Series squad. So, what does that mean? Have we truly seen the last of MadBum? If that is the case, he certainly has made quite a career for himself. Parts of 15 seasons in the majors, 4 All-Star appearances and 2 Silver Sluggers are nothing to scoff at. Add to that his 3 World Series titles, his NLCS and World Series MVP awards from 2014, and you have a resume many pitchers can only dream to achieve. Will this get him into the Hall of Fame when all is said and done? Well, there's a chance. But if I had to guess, it'll take a few years on the ballot for him to get it done. But for all that, we'll just have to wait and see. Whatever's next for him, let this summary of his playoff career serve as a reminder to just how good this guy was when the spotlights shone the brightest. I hope you enjoyed and would kindly ask you to leave a like and to subscribe if you did, as well as leave a comment with any feedback you may have. And until I find the time and motivation to record and edit the next video, my name's Diamond Ace, and I hope to see you another time.